Hey everybody, this is Brandon from the podcast Let Me Put My Pants On. Today I'm sitting with Katie Hinckley.
Hi.
Carla Morales.
Hello.
And Jaleesa Johnson.
Hey.
And we got Matt over there running the show. Today we're going to be talking about Sketchsplosion and our particular sketch. If you don't know, Sketchsplosion was a 48-hour comedy sketch film competition that they've been doing every year for how many years have they been doing it, Jaleesa? Two?
I thought this year was the third year.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
They've done a few, right?
I didn't think I would be asked questions. I don't know.
Yeah,
you could talk. This is your podcast too.
Yeah, no, I used to know the answer, but yes, probably the third.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, our particular sketch got second place, so yeah, we put a lot of work into it. We want to talk about it. Our particular sketch was called 12 Years a Gay Slave.
Yeah.
It was a movie trailer, and the premise was actually based off a joke that you've been telling for a while, Jaleesa.
Right.
Let's listen to it for a sec. Let's take a moment to listen to your joke.
Black Friday just passed, and I've always wondered what Black Friday was like when black people were still for sale. You know? It's interesting. It's an interesting thought. Slave owners were probably like, hey, come on down for the biggest sale of the year. Sure, you can beat these slaves, but you can't beat these prices. Right? I'm pretty sure that's how Walmart was born, guys. Okay, it's historically accurate, right? Can't do anything about it now. If I were a gay slave, I think about that for some reason. If I were a gay slave, I would actually try coming out to my master, you know, just to see if he would disown me. It seems like worth a try, right? Thank you. But knowing my luck, I'd probably end up with the one progressive slave owner in the entire South. He'd be like, what's that? You're gay? Well, I love you just the way you are. Now get back to work, nigger, or something. I know, nigger's a bad thing.
I've been saying that for 2 years probably now, because it started off when Carla and I first wrote that joke. It was like a news parody of like Fox News from the 1800s, and it was a totally different concept. It had more like Native American politics than slavery, and it was like something about Christopher Columbus and. Oh man, do you remember the line?
There was something, the Christopher Columbus one?
Well, it was like something about like when we come back, like we'll discuss the flatness of the world and the roundies that want you to think otherwise.
That's right.
Yeah. So then that turned into slavery somehow. So
It was kind of a really easy premise for all of us to work with because you had you had the racism, you had we're all kind of fluid with our sexual
we're on
and maybe gender identity. It's a very fluid, confused house.
We're all on the spectrum in some sort.
It kind of wrote itself once we knew we were going to go in that direction. Let's talk about. Well, I don't know. Where do we want to start?
Well, we can discuss. I guess more about why everybody was so immediately comfortable doing slavery stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like pitching the idea to Matt and Jimmy to do the slave owner scene.
Yeah.
It was really quick, really abrupt. And everybody was just like, yeah, of course.
We're down. I thought it was just so, I just thought it was such a funny idea. Like it was so perfectly, it was so easily executed, I felt like, just because it was like, okay, everyone knows about 12 years a slave, but like throwing in that awesome comedic like throw off of like a gay slave, I was instantly on board. Like I was just like, oh fuck yeah, like I hope I can be like some slave owner's wife who like falls in love with the slave or something. And that's like kind of what it went up on into, and I loved it. I thought it was such a good way for us to like get together and like not only did we have a great basis for the script, but we also all had like such good like ad-libbing improv stuff to put on the table because we're all funny people. So it was like starting with something so great and then all being able to work to embellish it together was like just fantastic.
Yeah, I think we all had fun in our roles. Yeah, like you said, you played my wife, the closeted lesbian who falls in love with the slave. I was the slave owner, the massa. Jaleesa was the slave, of course. Matt was the slave owner.
Slave seller.
Auctioneer.
Slave seller.
Oh, yes. Matt was the
He wore many hats that day.
You wore many hats. And then, of course, Carla was the director or partial writer. Yes,
and
you guys
also,
wrote it together.
Yeah,
we wrote it
supporting
together.
role of long distance lesbian.
Oh,
Long-distance
yes.
You saw my
lesbian.
back
Nigger
for like
lover.
half a second.
The back of your head is ridiculous. Damn.
I like it.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember how fucking hot it was that day when we were filming?
Yeah. Global
was
warming,
so-
man.
Hot, and I was wearing a literal bed sheet in polyester. Like, there was no breathability there.
That was the worst part, yeah. Not that the costumes weren't amazing, but that I had no idea that when people are making things, it doesn't always feel the way it looks. Like,
No,
we
it
had
looks
to
fantastic,
dab
but-
ourselves in between.
Yeah, like I was definitely shuffling like tissue paper in my pits, like just to keep it dry up there, because I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't.
It kind of went with the theme, though, since we're playing, like,
In the South.
the South, slave owners,
Yeah.
slaves, and I always imagine them being hot and sweaty.
I didn't think about that. That's
Very
perfect,
sweaty.
actually.
I honestly just want to say I loved wearing that wig that you
Yeah.
let me borrow.
Our costumes were great. Honestly, I didn't think... I thought we were going to totally fail at this, and then I didn't start feeling inspired until we woke up that day and Colleen had made you guys some costumes, especially your costume, Jaleesa. I think that's what really got us motivated, really working on it.
Definitely.
do not think we could have pulled it off without the costumes. Like
Yeah.
we would have had done a modern type interpretation, which could have been harder to execute. But it was so simple and elegant and perfect, and she dedicated her time off. So thanks, Colleen.
You look like
Yeah,
a
thank
slave. Yeah, thank you, Colleen. And then let's talk about, so some of our sets that we filmed at the historic Whaley House in San Diego.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us how we landed that spot, Katie? Because they don't normally let people film there.
Yeah, so I have a couple of friends from a bar that we used to go to all the time, and Larry and Dean, Dean is Larry's partner. He is actually the like historical director at the Whaley House. Like he wrote the book for them, like they have in their store, their merch place. And so I messaged him on the off chance, like I figured there was going to be a no. Like I honestly was like, okay, well, all you can do is ask, and all they can do is say no, and then we move on and figure something else out. And so when I got to talk to him, he was like, yeah, totally, like, normally no, but like, just make sure you kind of stay out of the way of the business, don't interfere with anything. I was like, yeah, of course, like we want to use some surrounding shots. So we ended up not being able to go on the day I said we were going to. So when we showed up the next day, there was like awkward furtive glances from like the manager on duty, and she eventually came over and talked to us, and she's like, oh, you're Dean's friends. I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, it's cool, it's fine, thank you so much. Like, and I basically just said like we'd mention the Whaley House because it is in the historic old town, and it was right down the street from another historic place where we got to film, I think, a very perfect auctioneer set.
Oh, yeah.
It's up on the way up to Presidio Park, which is a pretty famous park here. It's also sentimental to me because that's where my parents got engaged. So like I knew about it because like I had been there a bunch of times. And so we're driving up, and then we spot this like giant stone cross, like bricks.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And it was like on this hillside and had trees, and like it was so perfect. I think it was Carla who spotted because I was thinking of another spot, but was it you that spotted
Yeah, it was like right across the street, and there was going to be no freeway visible from it. So
Yeah,
that's
so
pretty
it was like, I was like, oh, there's that spot. And then, of course, she turns around and is like, brilliant! And just had that shot ready. And we had like rope and whips, and thanks to Brandon. And
Yeah, thanks to Mankind for lending us all the sex toys for the sketch.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys remember when we were at the Whaley House when we were trying to film the scene where Jaleesa's character, her slave character, is coming out to the master, which I play, and there was this lady with her 3 kids coming up, and it was when we were filming the scene where your character comes out to my character, Jaleesa, and we paused, and we told her right away, like, or that she asked what we were doing. We were like, oh, we're filming something for a school project, I think we said. And they all wanted to watch. Yeah. We're like, ooh, there's some naughty language in this, so your kids might not want to hear this.
But she actually was going to stay at first.
She stood there, and we were getting ready to film, and then I remember just hesitating, and I said it again. I was like, you know, I really don't think the kids are going to want to hear this.
Because your next line was like, get your ass back
in that field. Back in that field. Yeah. No, go on, get.
Like, ain't no goddamn slave of mine, a homosexual.
That was, honestly, I want that as my ringtone. Like,
I did not want to confuse those poor kids.
Yeah, like, Mommy, why is he so flamboyant and so very racist and homophobic?
But then the scene immediately after that is when we filmed your scene, Katie, on the porch. Right next to it was an interracial couple getting their pictures taken by photographers, like the black man with the white wife and the
kids,
the interracial kids. And what was your line? And you're dressed up as the slaves. Yeah. And we're not even saying anything, and it looks offensive.
So I'm standing there with a cigarette holder in my hand, and I'm like, being a homosexual is a choice, the wrong choice, but a choice nonetheless. And I choose you, my little bonbon. And I like point this riding crop at her. And I'm just imagining this absolute, obviously like step mixed family, just being like, what the fuck are these kids doing?
The contrast is just so.
Yeah, it's like, so look at how progressed we are in front of this 1800s brick house.
That's cool that there's interracial families that.
Yeah.
You know, Old Town now.
My favorite thing was honestly being able to say that, like, despite the fact that some people are not going to like this video for obvious reasons, some people will see it as white people and black people and a Mexican making fun of slavery together. I think that's progressive.
That's pretty fucking progressive.
It's been my dream to make a movie, like a feature film that's about slavery and that's funny. So this was like a little, like, step in that direction.
It's a taste.
I like it.
I think, and a lot of people that have been telling me that have watched our sketch, it leaves them wanting more. People keep telling us that. I mean, it's a movie trailer. It's a pretend movie trailer, and people want to see the whole movie now.
Yeah, and
I want to see it.
That's the tricky part, right? It's like, okay, now we have to figure out how do we continue plots? Because one of the fun things about using the trailer, I thought, was that you could plug in those punchlines without having to explain yourself, and that was a cool little thing I never really thought about until I realized we have 48 hours for something. So it's nice. I would like to learn how to do more long form comedy though. That would be a goal.
Let's talk about the time crunch. So it's a 48-hour competition. We only had 48 hours to film this. Right. They gave us, and the way they get around it is when I think the start time was like Friday at 6 p.m. and they give you a rule or something that has to be in your sketch.
Right.
And this year it was the line, "You cannot be serious," which is that was perfect for us because your character Jaleesa used that line immediately. How did it go? You come out to me, and I get all scary, but then I start laughing and I say, "I still love you just the way you are. Now get your ass back in that field." And you walk
angrily
away from
picking
me.
away.
Yeah, you had the afro pick picking at your fro, and you're
it's
like,
nice
you
touch.
Cannot be serious.
I love that you insisted on the afro picking.
Yeah.
I never would have. Yeah, I never would have like appreciated that gesture until you mentioned it.
So it was fun, but the time crunch that was definitely a challenge for us because we're all busy, but when we're not busy, we're all lazy and procrastinate, and we get high a lot.
Yeah.
So we basically filmed a 48-hour film project in about, I don't know, how much time do you think? We probably put like at least 15 to 18 hours into this. But from start to finish, we did not sleep.
Exactly. We put in like a full days of overtime work into this. And I think, honestly, if we put in the other day, who knows what we would have done. But that's kind of the cool part, is that the tighter the crunch, like, I don't know, the more fulfilling it seemed, because we just had to be very decisive, and that's something I don't normally do. Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we wanted to change. I would still like to go back and change a lot of things too to make it better, but it was just like, at this point, you kind of just got to be happy with what we got and figure out how to make it work.
I think that part of it was really awesome to see. How we could all communicate effectively, as well as like come to a compromise. Like, it was like we all wanted it to be the best we possibly could. Like, we all had major dreams on where we wanted to see it go, but it was like when it got down to it, we were like, all right, you know what, we got this and this, like, this is great, like, let's go.
Let's make a decision.
I thought that it was a really cool like sense of teamwork, because we all like put so much into it, and I love that. I thought that was like such a cool part about it.
We definitely made the best with what we had. Like, I remember where we did most of the filming on an iPad.
Oh yeah.
And we wanted so a lot of our scenes were outside or in public settings, and we knew that the only way this was going to work, or for us to have any chance of winning, is if the sound was good too.
Right.
Yeah.
But of course, we were unable to get a boom mic at the last, because we waited till the last second. So we ended up just basically like having Carla or Matt holding one of our cell phones.
Yeah.
To using the voice memo option to record the dialogue, and we would end up taking that audio and splicing it over the video that we recorded.
Crazy.
I think we recorded pretty much everything with the iPad.
Yeah.
But I remember when we did the one scene where you get kidnapped, Jaleesa, we filmed that at Small Bar, and they were kind of like the Whaley House. Like, at first they're like, what the fuck are you people doing? But then the bar manager who was working, I forget his name, but he was like, oh yeah, you guys are cool, just don't bug anybody.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun to like ask the question, because it's like, you're just sincere about it and you're honest about it. Like, most people are pretty receptive, and that's one of the things like I would always love to be into, is like finding locations for places. Like, I would love to be that kind of like
location
set scout, or like I would love to work in production, like just producing the movies and getting them like getting the locations, getting the costumes, getting the the special effects like situated. I love that part.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We did a lot with not that much. I mean, we didn't spend any money. We made this. I mean, it's a badass sketch.
Yeah.
We didn't spend any money on this.
It's like a thong. It's just like the bare minimum, but it's beautiful.
We're talking about this because doing this got us all really excited. It lit this fire in us, and since the sketch and all the feedback we've been getting from it, we've been talking about filming other sketches, and now that we know what we're capable of under certain constraints, it's exciting thinking about what we can do with a little bit of a budget, maybe, or even just more time to like really flesh things out. So what was it like for everybody winning second place? If you didn't say this already.
Losing first?
Yeah. God.
I was so much more disappointed than I thought I would be. I thought I'd be happy with just placing. And I was. I mean, it was still pretty cool, but...
I agree. I just feel like I'm more competitive than I thought I was. Now that I lost.
Wait, losing? Yeah, the only option for us was first place the whole time we were recording.
I never considered
We just had it in our minds that we were going to win no matter what.
I didn't have a concession speech. I had a victory speech, bro. I was going to thank all the gay slaves. Yeah. I was going to say a lot of shit, and I never got to say it. I wish I brought my speech today. I could have just said it on that. There's no point now. We lost.
I was so impressed with what we had done. Like, watching it a million times over the night before the 2 nights before was so great. And watching it on the way there and just being like, everyone was so proud of it. And I was really inspired by everyone else. And like, I feel like I had been so out of touch with my creative side for so long, and like living here and seeing all that happen with all the talent you guys have and like all the push and the drive, I'm like totally back in it. My mental state is just like completely changed about my opinion on it, and it's great having that again. Like, I feel like I'd been stifling that part for a long time, and so like when we like when I saw all the other videos, especially, I was like, fuck yes. Like, we are down with this. Like, I'm so great. And I really was like, oh, okay, well, you know, second. I don't consider it losing, but that's because I was just happy to be doing something again. Yeah. Happy to be doing something, anything that got any recognition from the community.
I mean, it was just really cool to, like, be able to see our video up on a big screen and hearing people laugh at, you know, stuff that we put together.
That was the most validating.
First, yeah, I think
our sketch was played first. I was salty just about that, too.
That's the biggest...
Yeah, I was, like, really... at the time, I was really salty about getting second place, too, but... Now that I've had time to think about it and let it sink in, I mean, I'm really proud of what we did because second place is really... This is the first time we really did something like this. Yeah. And our first time we got second place.
I feel like a pillar of salt. I'm just like...
Talk about the cash reward?
Yeah, so...
Everyone else lost. Like, they didn't get shit.
Yeah, so only first and second place got cash prizes. First place was $150. Second place was $75. And I'm really, like... excited about it. You know, it took us a little while to decide what to do with the money, but just recently we really spent the money. I think we still have a little extra left that we were gonna save for advertising, but we used some of the money for mics for the podcast that I'm talking to you on right now. We got a mic. We're gonna be able to set up an open mic for comics in our backyard pretty soon. That's going to be up and running soon. I'm really excited about that.
That's going to be nice.
And then some money is going to go towards our marketing, and then we got more money going towards, like, we really stretched out a little bit of money,
but
we got money that's going to go into future sketches too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Good job, you guys.
Absolutely. All we had to do was pile our food stamps together.
When you make something so awesome with $0 and then you get money from that, like, I don't know, $75 seems like a lot of money.
It is pretty nice. Purely for comedy, that's pretty sweet.
And so many doors open in that way. Like with the mic that Jaleesa and Carla are on, it's like a mobile recording device, and like we could use it as booms for future sketches. And you know, like it's gonna open up so many more opportunities to get better and better. And like we started off with so little and did so well, like just even a little bit like of halfway decent, you know, equipment, you can like completely explode what you're capable of.
Yeah.
So like, you know, doing sketches outside no longer a problem because you can just get a little wind screen. It looks like a little like fur ball.
Looks like my hair.
Well, this one does, but there's another one that's built for outside that looks like. Do you know what a tribble is?
No.
It's from Star Trek. I don't know if anyone. Okay.
You know, it'd be cool if they had one that had little dreads attached. Just like make that wind.
Just
screen.
like you could make it happen. You could just like start. You know.
Absolutely.
Getting it. I like just
Investors welcome.
Let's talk about dread mics, yo. Okay.
Yeah, check out our sketch. It'll be linked to this podcast. But be sure to check it out and let us know what you think of it in the comments.
I've gotten a lot of great responses. Like whenever someone sees me in person, it's the first thing they reference. It's like my new credit. It used to be, hey, Jaleesa, she does some stuff around here. Like, but now it's like 12 years a gay slave. Like they love it.
Awesome.
People really are happy about it, and that makes me happy. I have yet to hear one person that's like. That's mean, you know, like, because they'll exist.
It's a great idea. It's fun. It makes, like, racism and homophobia, like, fun. I don't know.
So fun with those racists and homophobics, let me tell you.
It's nice to make fun of it, definitely, to make light of it. It's not easy. Those jokes took years because I remember when people got really offended at the concept, and it's like doing things a certain way really makes a huge difference. Like the intention behind it really shows.
It's really figuring out exactly what you're laughing at. And,
knowing, because that's what I'm noticing with the next sketch that we're working on. If we want to hint at that, it's just when you talk about very touchy subjects, no pun intended. It's a sexual assault awareness sketch, and you want to always make sure that you're laughing at the right things, and so that's a fun thing to check on because I find myself laughing at the wrong things all the time.
That's what makes a good comic, though. That when you're laughing at things that you know you probably shouldn't be laughing at.
That's a good point. Yeah. Find that sweet spot, you know.
I think it's, and I always when I was growing up, my parents were super against like crude, dirty humor. Like it was all clean comedy. And it was never. It was whitewashed as fuck. Like it was, you know, like
very family friendly stuff.
Yeah, you know, and like my dad just like when my dad started doing comedy when I was in high school, he was like, "Oh, I'm a clean comic. I make smart jokes." And I'm like, "Dad, you need a couple dick jokes to like make this happen."
Some smart dick jokes.
Some
they
smart
exist.
They do exist. And when I got back into it, when I first started doing stand up again, I was like, I was just like that sweet girl who made funny jokes about dating. And like now I'm like, I really want to get more into like serious subjects because I feel like I can bring it sort of like an animated quality. Because like I love the physical aspect of doing comedy and like kind of getting crazy and like how everything is making me feel is just like and just like shake. I just want to like rip people's faces off.
I wish we had a visual for the listeners. Yeah. Maybe we can make that into a GIF.
We'll get that. We'll turn it into a video. We'll make it part of the thing. Is how I
admire that. I admire the physical components. That's why I think you and Brandon were so good at your roles. It's just because you weren't afraid of getting a little physical with the expressions. Like Sketches gives us so much more leeway comedically, you know, with punchlines to be very visual, and I'm so used to thinking about every single word that it was nice that you guys were able to take the words and run with them, you know.
I think I was born for this role. Can we please do another sketch where I play a gay slave owner?
You know what? I think we need a sequel trailer. We can do a sequel trailer.
Oh my god, we need to do Too Fast, Too Bad, Curious.
I got stuck. I got stuck in my character. I had a hard time shaking that roll off.
Oh my god, dude, Jim Carrey has the same problem. It's not bad. Not a bad problem.
Every time I see you, I just see a person.
Some parts of a person, right?
at least 3/5. At least 3/5 a person.
I think it was really great. There were some like clips that didn't make the cut, and I wonder if we'll ever get to show them.
Oh, we gotta make like a blooper reel one day.
We definitely have to make a blooper reel.
I know. Why didn't we filmed this? Me and Katie probably had too much fun filming this scene, but we filmed a scene where we had Jaleesa bent over a chair, and me and Katie had riding crops, and we were just beating your ass and laughing,
wailing on her pillowy butt.
Well, yeah, twice I think the pillow slipped.
I think we got you a couple of times.
Pretty sure it slipped.
Whoopsie.
It's all good.
You did your own stunts. Good for you, man.
I'm a natural Tom Cruise.
Matt, why couldn't we find a place for the scene of me and Katie beating Jaleesa? Matt?
Yeah. Matt. Just throw him on the spot like that.
Matt did a lot of our editing.
What was the executive decision making? I found that it was out of place, but also just
there was no real.
It was a great standalone.
Yeah,
I would love to.
I feel like that would have been something good to do, like after the credits. Like I know we had our brunch scene,
right? But even after like another credits reel,
like where it's like has it, and then it'd be like shock again, just like
maybe even a small little like a box, like you were saying with Toy Story.
Yeah, no, I actually completely agree. If we had credits, and we didn't really need them for our entry into Sketchsplosion, so we omitted them for the sake of time. If we had credits, which are definitely going to go up on the YouTube and Facebook videos, we'll probably add that scene in there at the end. Is just like one more laugh, like one more punchline. Yeah. We already have a similar conceit at the end of the episode where we have sort of some hilarious B-roll that plays after the very serious and dramatic title screen, and I'll never forget. I did the audio for it.
Yeah.
And I did it outside. I did it on my I have a screen door in my room, and I did it out on my porch, and it was at night, so there were crickets.
It was
you can hear the crickets on it. Yeah,
I thought that was like added later. Oh my
real.
god, I noticed that.
On the first take, I walked out there, and I had no idea I was supposed to sound, and I just went, let's see if I can do it now. 12 years a gay slave.
Yeah.
It's so perfect.
Yeah. I know.
I love it. Honestly, that gave me chills when I first saw it.
No, same.
It really hits.
Yeah, I recorded it a couple more times, and I was like, no, I think that's good. And the funny thing is, like, all the other narration I have is, like, shit that I'm, like, freaking out trying to record it on the iPad, like, an hour before I'm going to work.
Dude,
like,
everything else is great.
Yeah, it did the damn job. Thank you, Matt. Honestly, like, those roles were so important because, like, in a trailer, the voiceover really pulled it together. Like, in the dramatic moment sinks in, like, they hear your voice next. And it's good for it. You got that radio bass in there.
I remember Jaleesa and I were listening back to it, and he was playing it. We heard the first one that he recorded. We were like, that's it. Don't even play the rest of them.
Yeah, honestly, it was very easy to pick.
That's so
clips,
awesome.
For sure.
Yeah, well, I thought the crickets were a nice touch. But getting back, after we did the title scene, we had some B-roll, and it was just something that Brandon and Katie taped with Jaleesa the night before, and I had never seen it before I started editing the video. Like, I hadn't had a chance to watch it yet. And I watch it, and it's just Jaleesa walks in her slave outfit, and Katie and Brandon are dressed up like ridiculous slave owners, and there's an old piano behind them, and they're drinking wine, and as soon as Jaleesa walks in, they pull out the LGBTQ flag and the bisexual flag, and they start waving it and laughing mockingly at her until she just turns around and leaves the room. And then they just keep laughing. They start tossing the flags away. Like,
I love that.
Oh, it's hysterical. It was a great way to end it. You know, that was another clip that we had a really hard time fitting that B-roll in with like the natural progression of
the plot, really.
Yeah, the plot.
Yeah. I think it worked out perfectly though.
So once we do the credits, we'll throw in the stupid ass laughing. I think maybe like 5 or 6 seconds of that will be fine, because
it's funny.
Anything longer becomes farcical.
Yeah, no, I love it though. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
That that last scene that you were just talking about, Matt, that scene ended up working out so perfectly, because that was just one of those scenes that we improv'd at the last minute that we were coming up with.
And we were so tired.
We were so tired. It was like that was the night. It was the last thing we filmed. Like, we were all falling asleep, but we were like, no, we're all dressed up. We're not going to be able to have any time tomorrow. We got to do this tonight. And I remember Carla was sitting up on this chair on her knees holding the iPad, and she was falling asleep. Because we kept trying to figure out the right places to get it. I'm so glad that scene worked out.
We shot it maybe 10 times.
It ended up, it's a great way to end the trailer.
It was a perfect ending.
Yeah.
We don't even we're not even saying anything in that scene. We're just your expressions and us laughing.
I love it. I love
it's all
sketch
It's
implied
a great way to
context.
end it. Yeah, it's perfect.
It's a new muscle for me. I'm
and
not used to this.
That was something totally off script too.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
The fatigue made us a bit delusional, so you guys are
I
laughing
think
pretty
That's
what
people have been saying to me that they love our laughing.
Especially when we bought Jaleesa too.
It's convincing. Oh man, you guys sell it.
Oh yes.
I wish we could get a clip of that, like a nice clean clip of you guys laughing.
Just like and then like clearing our throats and be like.
I'll just insert it right here.
There we go. No, I really had a great time.
It was
so much fun.
That cross was like a sign from God. I feel like everything just kind of worked out.
We cannot do this podcast. Okay, so we can't complete our podcast on our Sketchsplosion entry without really discussing something that only came to light in the comments section of Jaleesa's video after she posted it to Facebook. That I neglected to bring it up at the time, because honestly it kind of freaked me out, and I thought, if I don't freak out, no one's gonna freak out. And it was that when we were leaving, after we'd done the scenes with like Jaleesa tied to the cross and cars are driving by and we're trying to wait, so we're taking a lot of time up there. She's tied up, she's in slave clothes, and then like we take her down and she's all chained up, and then there's like an altercation scene or two we didn't use with Brandon where they're fighting and Jaleesa's just like, fuck you, you salty motherfucker.
It was so good.
I forgot about that.
We're all laughing over it, so we couldn't use it in the.
We need a blooper reel, you guys.
Yeah, we do.
It was hysterical. But and then there's a scene where Brandon basically fake drop kicks Jaleesa to the ground on the field, and we did it a couple takes of it. And as we were leaving, after we finished all the shooting, there's a fucking police SUV in the parking lot that we walked back up to, and we're all just like carrying boxes full of costumes and like more or less half dressed. And I saw him, and I was like, in my head, I was like, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Oh my god, I had no idea.
Alright guys, that's a wrap on episode 3 of Let Me Put My Pants On. Thanks for joining us while we recapped our experience producing our entry for Sketchsplosion this year. It was a lot of fun, and you can check out 12 Years a Gay Slave in all its glory right now on our Facebook page. It's going to be posted up right alongside the podcast. As always, if you enjoyed the show, we'd love to hear from you, either on Facebook or in an iTunes review. If you don't know what to write, you can leave a review in the form of a shitty poem. I'm your producer, Matt McCoy. Your hosts are Brandon Potter, Jaleesa Johnson, and Katie Hinckley. Also on the podcast this week was Carla Morales, who was on the team for our skit. Let Me Put My Pants On is recorded in sunny University Heights, San Diego.
Join us every Wednesday right here for more topical interviews and discussions. We'll see you next week.